Today we are joined by guitarist Art Villarreal from S.A. Slayer, a legendary, celebrated South Texas, San Antonio heavy metal band that is currently in the process of reuniting after some 40-odd years or whatever.
Who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting? There is a demand for S.A. Slayer. Some gigs coming up overseas, Hell's Heroes in Houston, Texas. This is part 2 of our S.A. Slayer segment. We had guitarist Bob Catlin on a previous episode.
Yeah, so chapter 1 would be Bob.
Chapter 1, yeah.
Chapter 2, Art Villarreal.
This is the unholy book, right? So
yeah.
Chapter 1, Bob Catlin. Chapter 2 today is Art Villarreal. And Art, that was fun, man. You guys obviously have a lot of history together. The Prepare to Die EP is a much celebrated, highly collectible vinyl release. The original pressing, especially, if you can find that, good luck. But yeah,
I've got 2 in case anybody has a bag of money they want to give me. They can have one of mine. So.
Yeah, Jason can be bought. Only one of them, though,
yeah,
right? You can't part with both of them. Yeah, S.A. Slayer, heavy metal band out of San Antonio, was around during the mid-'80s, put out a couple records, an EP and a full-length album. Go for the Throat was the title of the full-length. But then disappeared, and as bands do, guys grew up, grew older, separated, etc. And all these years later, there is a demand for a reunion. So
well, and there's the other Slayer that had some sort of say in one of them's got to go. And,
there's another Slayer?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I think so. My point, that's part of the story, but it doesn't, obviously, here we are, it doesn't kill off the idea of how good the fucking band was. It doesn't kill anything, actually, the fact that someone else kind of got rights to the name early enough to sort of, there were things happening in the band anyway. Lest we not forget that Dave McClain, drummer from S.A. Slayer, was in Machine Head for 23 years, made some phenomenal, groundbreaking thrash albums with Machine Head, and went through all of the motions of changing, slightly change of styles during the 90s and things with Machine Head, which is all important to the landscape. And now has been for years. He was actually playing in Sacred Reich out of Phoenix, Arizona. Machine Head, of course, being a Bay Area band. Phil Dimmel, Rob Flynn, etc. So it's important to also talk about Sacred Reich being one of those bands. I mean, Jason Newsted, Flotsam, and Sacred Reich have this, they're a conglomerate in Phoenix, just like, I don't know, Slayer and Watchtower would have been down here. So when you think about the scope, it's deep.
Yeah.
But Dave McClain's part of it. And he was in Sacred Reich before Machine Head, did Machine Head forever, and then has been back for years now with Sacred Reich. Not even ironic to me. And then, of course, Don Van Stavern was very fortunate to be, as well as other members of S.A. Slayer, including Steve Cooper, rest in peace, and Dave McClain, to get in good with Riot guitar player Mark Reale, who's buried in San Antonio. He loved Texas, he loved San Antonio, and befriended tons of musicians and friends there, and created a relationship, especially with Van Stavern, and Van Stavern is carrying the torch for Riot, as is well documented, with the record Thundersteel that has Bobby Jarzambek on the band and in the band, and on that record, Thundersteel created a second wind for Riot with Mark Reale, and Mark Reale, rest in peace, has been gone for quite some time now, but Don Van Stavern carrying that torch for Riot, original member, founding member of San Antonio Slayer. So there's that. Art gives us a story today about how they came together. And our episode with Bob says it slightly, basically the same thing, but in his words too, about what they recall about getting that group of fantastic together for the first time, and how they met Steve Cooper and reeled him in to be their front person. And the rest is history, because the Prepare to Die and Go for the Throat are amazing songwriting. It's technical, progressive power metal influenced by early Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, and then later hugely influenced by some of the songs just sound like Merciful Fate to me. So
Yeah.
if you like that ilk, you're going to dig it, and you'll like hearing about it. Yeah, today was great, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And for people watching and listening, we should point out that S.A. Slayer started with a singer named Chris Kronk, and then recorded with a singer named Steve Cooper. And
Yeah.
Steve, unfortunately, passed away in 2006. So our very own Jason here is stepping in to do lead vocals during these reunion shows. So it's all part of that South Texas heavy metal family and camaraderie and that brotherhood that I think is really cool, that not only the fans get to celebrate, but all you guys, grew up together, went to high school together, or you weren't very far apart in age and you came up in the same scene. So there is a real brotherhood involved here.
I'm so excited. This is a fire that just cannot be put out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of those trick birthday candles.
I love it. I love it. Art Villarreal today from S.A. Slayer on the Talk Louder podcast.